This is something that happened years ago that I think about from time to time. And I was recently thinking about it because I noticed that the term homeless has seemingly been replaced by unhoused. And normally I just automatically adopt whatever is the new, more accepted term. And it's not like I feel that strongly about this particular one. I just don't understand it. I don't know if unhoused is supposed to lend more respect to people who are unhoused or homeless. But to me, it kind of means the same thing. And living in New York City, like I do and always have, I don't know, nobody here seems to have adopted unhoused. There's something about it that just doesn't feel genuine and it just doesn't sit, it's not, doesn't sit comfortably. So I thought I would bring that up. If anyone has any input and can clarify the difference and what is supposed to be being accomplished by that change. Years ago, probably my second job out of college, I was working at a very, very fancy schmancy store on Madison Avenue. And as I'm sure everyone knows, Madison Avenue is very affluent. And there was a woman, a homeless woman, who begged for money and wore nothing but a trash bag. Now, when you see someone on the street wearing nothing but a trash bag, something happens to you. As a human being, seeing another human being like that, you have a visceral reaction. And I had seen her before. She was kind of a staple in this neighborhood, and I had seen her before. I'm used to seeing a lot of homeless people, and a few things struck me after that visceral reaction. One of the things is that, or the first thing is that I know that nobody has to wear a trash bag on the street. There are shelters, there are always people trying to help homeless people out. I'm not saying it's a great system. It's not. There needs to be a lot more in place. That's something that's a totally separate subject. My point is being familiar with the streets of New York. Right after my initial horror of seeing her like this, I started to think about it and kind of put things into place in my mind. When I started working at the store, I had, I'll call it an opportunity to really watch her on a daily basis. And she and I would make eye contact and smile at each other very briefly, in her case, occasionally. And the next thing that I noticed about her is that she did not act crazy. She did not seem mentally ill at all, which is unusual for somebody walking on the street in a trash bag. I had seen people give her clothes and she would take it. I don't know what she would do with it, but she would not wear it because this was her work uniform, this trash bag. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're willing to wear a trash bag on Madison Avenue, you better be making a lot of money because you deserve it. That's a businesswoman. And I would watch her and people interact with her, and people would give her a lot of money, $20 bills, more. I've seen actors and politicians and public figures give her money. One I remember in particular, for some reason, maybe because he's the only one I actually remember, was John Lovitz, the comedian and actor. I think he was on Saturday Night Live, and he's been in a lot of other things. He gave her $20, and one day I was standing at the corner window of the store, and she was on the corner, and a Lincoln Town Car with tinted windows pulled up at the corner that she was standing, at which she was standing, and the back window rolled down about this much. I did not see who was inside, but she removed from beneath the trash bag a wad of cash that I still can't get over for some reason. I don't know what I expected, and I don't know what I thought. I mean, I saw her getting money. I didn't really think about where she's putting it. As this scenario unfolded before me, I realized she's probably putting it in a Louis Vuitton fanny pack strapped around her chest. The window rolled up, the car pulled away. She turned around, our eyes met, and she gave me a very quick wink and went back to business. And there's really no moral to that story. It's just kind of an interesting thing that happened that had an effect, like that just stuck with me, you know? It's almost a feel good story, as a matter of fact. But I just really thought that was an interesting little story. So, what I'm doing here is I'm going to make a cut crease. And I'll show you what that is if you don't know. Put, a lighter shade above my crease, darker within the crease. I'm just blending it out. Streets are going crazy today because it's the final soccer match. So a cut crease is when you take concealer after you've done everything I just described, and you put it on your eyelids like so. What this is going to do is it's going to improve the adherence of whatever you put over it, as well as make it really pop because it gives it a blank canvas, a lighter background. And it's also good just to kind of clean it up and give it a little more oomph, more polished look. Now, if I put a light color over this or a light pearlized color, it would be a lot more dramatic, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use something that I absolutely love. It is so beautiful, and it's by Kiss Beauty. Kiss New York, I guess it's called. I'll show it to you in a second. Kind of a bronzy powder that just almost turns into like a molten metal. See that? I just love this stuff. And if you're somebody who likes to use color, this also is a great way to do it because it really makes that color stand out. I tend to stick with neutral colors for my eyes. I just find them more flattering. In general. I find bright colors to be a little bit distracting. My face, anyway. So what this is it's, I think it's a bronzer, but it's Kiss Pro Touch Glow and Bronze Powder for face and body. They do have it on Amazon because I have two of them, of course. I got one of them on Amazon. I prefer the dark colored. Look at that. So pretty, and it's a lot of it in here. Of course, the top tends to fall off, but it's worth it. I'm going to put on liquid liner because why not? And I do that the same way I do pencil liner. I just do it the either corner of the eye. Restraint is the key here. And I'll do the lower lashes. I think with that same bronzing stuff. See how that goes. I hope it doesn't fly everywhere, but let's have a look. Let's find out together. Okay. Not bad. Maybe a little darker, but that's all right. Put my lashes on. And those are the pre-glued self-adhesive lashes that I talked about in the first video, which I love. The only problem with those is, I mean, Amazon has the best, least expensive ones, hands down. The only issue is that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to notice this, certain types of product, it's very difficult to be sure that they're always going to be available. They change overnight. The company name, label name, product itself, but there's always something comparable, at least. Although I do wish, if you find your go-to thing, you want to be able to know you can go to it. And that's that. That's a cut crease. That's my little story about the woman in the trash bag. I often think about her and wonder where she is today. She doesn't run that company anymore. She's no longer a boss babe. Or at least I haven't seen her. I'd like to think that she retired and is living her best life right now. I did get a lip thing by Absolute New York. I've used everything. But first of all, I don't like to talk about, if something high end and expensive is really amazing, of course, I'm happy to discuss it. But generally speaking, I like to mess around with the more affordable stuff so that I don't have too many regrets. And I find a lot of them are just as good. This is by Absolute New York, and it is a lipstick and liner and dual ended. So let's check it out. It's a pretty dark liner for such a light lipstick. I usually don't bother filling in the Cupid's bow. Just draw it through with the, drag it through with the lipstick. Hmm. I like that this isn't scented, but it's a good example of why they do put fragrance in these things. It smells a little bit like industrial paint. It's all right. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm nice. Perfect Pair Duo Parfait by Absolute New York. There you go. I think that was in the color Rosewood, but I threw it across over there, so now I can't get to it. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me. I'll see you very soon.